How are you all?
We are good. We are
Hi.
good, darling. Watching
That's
her.
fine.
Watching her. I have to do that pose. Hold on.
Yeah, of course. We have to salute our brothers.
Yes, we do, darling. We do. We do.
Let me come on before the masses come on, because I'm down with the hay fever.
Oh, bless you. Well, at least the weather's kind of cooled down a bit. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Oh, we're recording, and there's me coming on.
That's all right. That's all right, baby. That's all right. We live and direct. We're authentic. We're transparent. We are unfiltered. I saw the thing set. Yeah. Hey, Gemini. Hi, Kay. Come on. We welcome Zane. Zane.
Disappeared.
Yes.
May I try to stretch out in here?
Put your face in the camera. Who's this?
Who's that?
He's there.
It's Auntie.
Auntie.
Auntie Dinah.
Hello, baby. Mwah.
Nah.
I caught it. Oh, Cupid. Wow. 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 Yes, as I was saying to Lim, hi, Sean B. I wanted to make sure that this topic got discussed. As you know, it was scheduled for last week because of the current affairs. I wanted to make sure that we, in respect of George Floyd, and for us as a people, that discussion took place yesterday. So today we are talking about, as you know, do women have a stronger sisterhood than the men? Well, we got yet to find out. I'm just waiting for everybody to climb on board and put up the platform so I can see this. Let me just change this. So for those of you who are not familiar with Zoom, we have a chat room. So if you hover your mouse, your finger, whatever device you're using around the screen. Hi, my name is Diana Lewis. I am your host today. I may be joined by my co-host. I don't normally have them when it's this week, but they come on every other week. Hence, they were there last week and they will be next week. So today it is moi. So I hope I'm good enough for you. And I will be taking control of the platform when I mute everybody out, because there can be at times a lot of background noise that interferes with our flow of discussion and it doesn't look professional. So I just want to welcome you all, first timers, and I hope you enjoy tonight. I hope you are willing to contribute as well. And it's a platform that's very holistic, and we respect this space because people have given up their time to be a part of it. So I have some housekeeping rules that I'd like to share with you. If you would like to be kept in the loop of future events, please use the chat room to leave an email, a contact number, so that we can we can keep you in the loop of future platforms and things that are going on. Use the chat room to ask any questions. If you're somebody, a lot of you are hiding behind the screen, so you might not want to be visible and you might not want to pose your question vocally. If you don't, that's fine. You can use the chat room and send a private message to me, or you can send it so everybody can see it. Again, though we approach each platform with the utmost level of respect for our viewers, we are mindful that there may be topics discussed that are sensitive and personal to you. However, we welcome your opinions and would appreciate if you could refrain from any hostile comments, as we endeavor to maintain an holistic platform to be openly discussed freely and from a place of authentic maturity. So I do believe that we are a mature crowd of people. So anything personal, please do take it off of the platform. If we please you, do tell others, and if you do not, please tell me or tell us. And last but not least, I hope you enjoy the show. Hello? Okay, that's that. So let's start without further ado. So you are here because you know the topic tonight is, do women have a stronger sisterhood than the brothers? Let's let's begin. While I was researching this, I came across a lot of material, so I wanted to just kind of shrink it to get the juicy bits out and not make it long-winded, because I wanted to make sure I touched on very poignant pieces of information that will back up any kind of argument per se. So there is a sociologist called Jeffrey Greif, I think his name is, and he's also an author of a book called Body Systems, and it's Understanding Male Friendships. It eliminates this contrast by describing male friendships as shoulder to shoulder and female connections are face to face. So if you was on the platform where we spoke about why men go to their caves and women talk, it also encompasses what John Gray spoke about when he described women have this way of just wanting to talk their problems with their female friends, where men would prefer to just go and do whatever else they do, play sport or go to their man cave, so to say. So guys form bonds by playing or watching sports or going to parties, concerts, or working together. And this is not everybody, this is just quotes that I'm quoting. So if feel free, you may have another method that you use with your socializing. So women connect by talking about their feelings. We know this. So I know they said that men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and a lot can be said about that, like this one here. Men speak a total different language than women. Now, I'm hoping there are some men on the platform right now.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, Uncle Clive. How are you?
Well, you'd have to reconnect up and rejoin just to get on the damn platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, and I welcome you. I just want to let me just downsize this thing, because I'm going to be hearing pure click click in the background, which I don't want. Right. Okay. Right. So we are moving away from the feelings, to the type of discussions we are now having. So this is a question, and I want a male to answer this, please, if you would. What does it mean to be talking in the language of men? Can a male help me?
I would say, Diane, that in the language of men is where you speak at each other, not with each other. You speak at, but it's like a detachment of emotions.
Okay, so give me an example of that.
Right, okay, an example is, right, my wife just left me. Bloody hell, what you doing, man? You know? You never did with that girl. It wasn't with some other woman. You wasn't with something like this. What happened? Was you what? Nah, man, I just kind of, you know, whatever. So they don't, not all men, but the general kind of sort of said, boy, that's rough, man. You know, yeah, you need to sort that out. You need to sort that out. It is very much almost like a, it's not say black and white. You just, oh, that is that situation. This, end of.
Okay. Would you say that that type of discussion goes with age, maturity?
No, I would say what it is how you've been, I would say it's called socialization. How you've been socialized, and throughout the different decades, you find that it's like it will vary slightly.
Okay.
And then, of course, the country where you're in, and then, of course, then you take the culture on top of that as well. And then it's different. So you can say for white men, it could be slightly different. For black men, yes. Then yeah, it's expectations of, or how you are expected to behave. It's a socialization. And yeah, and you're not only are men are affected by that from what they receive from the mother and what they receive from the male and female growing up around them.
I'm glad you touched on the word socialization, and I just want to give the definition of that if anyone's unsure of it. It's the activity of mixing socially with others and the process of learning to behave in a way that is acceptable to society. So off the back of what Clive said, that plays a very, in fact, it's a very key part or key component to how both men and women address themselves when it comes to dealing with situations in their lives. All right, so I just want to throw in a statistic here also, because everything I want to share with you must link to the contributions from the viewers. So this is a statistic that says a study that was found, a 2014 study found that males had stronger neural connections in the parts of the brain responsible for perception and action, while females had better connectivity along the neural pathways linking analytics to intuition, two areas linked in interpersonal connection. Now, I'm no doctor, and if there are any doctors on here, I would welcome you. But the little I can add to the neurology side of things, from coming from a healthcare background, is the understanding of left and right. And through studies, because I have studied psychology on a degree level, I have had many male friend discussions as well as female of different ages. I also taught in secondary education, so there was a lot of referrals that were made to me with both male and female, and the issue, that the underlying issue that seemed to trigger behaviors was the wiring that had kind of, you know, from in the womb, and I speak about this all the time, from the womb to the world. So these things are so fundamental in our outlook on life. Again, back to the socialization, that's a very key component as to why we do what we do. Some people call it the nature-nurture debate. That's another area we can go into another time. So just not straying from what Clive said about socialization and what men do. Is there another male on the platform that would like to give an example of their own experience with answering that question? What does it mean to be talking in the language of men? Throwing it out there. Okay, we'll wait for the platform to warm up. A woman said that she experienced kind of sparse replies. So what does a sparse reply mean? Am I right in thinking that it's a cold shoulder? Like they ask you a question, and you kind of shrug them off with something. Could that be what a sparse reply means?
Or a yes/no answer.
Right. Yeah.
Without going into
Minimal.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word, minimal.
Okay. Because that was something that popped up in being a way in which a woman has been at the other end of receiving that sparse reply. Okay, so this is for the females now. Men said that women nag a lot. Why are we only known to just nag? More than anything, nagging came up.
Because when we say it the first time, we're trying to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
The second time, we're still on the communication level. But then 3-4 times, it becomes a nagging thing.
Right. So I don't want to believe that's every woman's approach.
No, definitely not.
And the word nag, that's one I forgot to really look up what the dictionary definition states with this word nag. Let's have a look, because it's funny how the dictionary words thing, bear with me
Oh,
in that. What's up, Clive?
no, it's just me trying to keep this phone steady. I'm steady. My apologies, ladies. My apologies. Really old broke for one.
So the word nag in the dictionary.
Harass somebody constantly.
Thank you, Z. Yeah. So when we speak of harass, I always thought harassment was a physical thing, but I guess, yeah, it's constantly to do something that's, oh, it's disappeared. Annoying. So we are annoying the men, women, okay? And we nag them. So just bear that in mind, yeah? And we're annoying them to the degree where they want Tom Fidone. or if not, find, no, you know what? I am assuming here, and I don't like to assume, right? And I won't go down that road. But that is what has been said. A female, you know, why are we only known to just nag? That was from the men, right?
Can I say something, please?
Yes,
I
go
don't-
ahead.
I believe the men will say we're nagging because they didn't listen the first time, or maybe they did listen the first time, but because we didn't get the response we wanted, we press on with continuously repeating ourselves, and then to them it becomes nagging, because though they didn't actually say I heard you the first time. So you know, you said about we don't get a response from men, or the cold shoulder. They feel the minimal saying I heard you is enough for us to just like keep quiet now, you don't need to repeat yourself. But then we nag because maybe we're not listening to their and their minimal responses to us. I don't know if I'm making sense.
That could be deemed as laziness, ladies. I would say it could be deemed as laziness, fear of being ridiculed, or it could be a genuine gripe, or a genuine, as I say, like, oh, for God's sake, you know, I won't know, you know. It could be, you know, the gentleman could be, the person, the man could be genuine in as much to say, yes, he does have a point. Yes, I have taken it into consideration. I will consider. Yes. And at the same time, but if we're speaking, because you tend to hear the nag, 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 nag type of thing, and you recognize that it's a two-way thing. As you say, it is the communication. But as you say, I'm not scientist, not any kind of behavioral therapy, just sort of general observation and how you actually, because as a male, you could nag a female. Well, we need this. Yeah, right. We need this. You know, X, Y, X, Y. Lord McKeon, we've gone, if you like. Okay. So that is where, when you say, coming right back to the first question, we can be direct and finish. Yeah? That's you know I am. And you're gone.
Okay. Sean, okay. Thank you for that, Clive. Sean.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Sorry, someone before me.
Let us just get this bell first, and then you can come in. Hi, Sean.
Yes. Hi, Di. Really, I struggle with the word nag, because it just conjures up such negative thoughts about how people communicate. And I think the real thing is that people who, what is for me is about behaviors, and how people behaviors, how they interact with certain people, and how they're used to communicating with certain people within your relationship, within your thing. I don't think it's always nagging. I think sometimes it's reminding, but it's constant. But it starts from a place where you kind of said something once, and then you didn't get the response you thought you were going to get for whatever reason. It could be because he didn't want to do it. He did want to do it, but he forgot. He had too much on. He had whatever. He was going to do it, but he wasn't going to do it just yet. But I think the point being is it's really about the two people trying to understand where they're trying to get to and how they're trying to get there. I don't know if that makes sense or if I'm drifting somewhere else, but yeah.
No.
Right on.
It's a valid point. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer. This is based on experience, and you're right. It's all down to the socialization of the individual, because it's all learned behavior.
Yeah.
It's all learned behavior. And as much as we have this tendency to say, I ain't gonna do what I saw my parents do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so ingrained in us, we don't even realize.
But I think what, sorry.
No, go ahead, Sean.
There was a thing, but what I think is, and it happens with people in general, is what they do is they get invested in something. So what I think happens is, so I go, all right, Diane, I asked you to do such and such, and you don't do it, and then I come back and I then have to come back to you and say to you again. I'm now kind of getting invested in it, in that it's becoming more important, and maybe more important than what it should be. But the more you have to revisit it, the more you are invested in getting the result, and you think the result is more important than necessarily the communication.
Yeah, that's it. The motive. It's the moral compass of why you're doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because generally there's a motive behind the approach that is looking for an outcome, no matter what. And that outcome generally is an expectation of the person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does that make sense? Z, thank you for that, Sean.
Hello.
Thank you for that. Hi, Z.
I'm in agreement with Sean and is it Lamara with both of the things that they said. What Sean said about the word nag, I really detest that word because it is so negative, and it's normally pinned towards a woman. You never hear about the nagging man. You always hear like a nagging woman. And I think a lot of the time, for me, I can't speak for every woman, but for myself, like in relationships, especially if there's something that I possibly don't like, I don't go with a directive, speech, you've got to do this. I'm going to express how I feel. And, you're hoping in that relationship that person's going to look at what's making you feel uncomfortable, reflect on it, and make a change. When you don't see the change, you're going to bring it up again because it's making you feel uncomfortable. And then that person obviously isn't taking it serious. There's no change in the behavior. So then they think that, oh, you're nagging. They're not going to change. On the other hand, sometimes I think a lot of us women, we want to change people, and we've got to realize as well, we can't change nobody. You can talk, and if a man or even your own circle of female friends don't want to take heed to what you're saying, move and go on. It's as simple as that. You cannot change people. People have to change because they want to, because they reflect on themselves and look at their behavior and feel that, you know what, this isn't the way. Was that a nag you said, Clyde?
Huh?
Was that a nagging?
No.
He's
That's
ringing the
bell
bell for you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, now call that with my more dangerous.
Well,
that's
said.
just mine. It may not be right or wrong in everyone else's eyes, but that's how I feel. Me too, all for nag any man. So if you're tough one, and you're not feeling what I'm saying, and I have to talk twice, and like Sean said about investing in that person, you want the best out of those around you. I mean, not every man and woman wants the best, but generally speaking, there's something you've seen. It could be something like, you always leave the toilet up. and you want that toilet to be put, you know, little things that he might think, you're just nagging woman, just put the toilet down yourself or something like that, you know. But it could
Bring
be
them out.
major things like you don't want that person smoking in the house, or, you know, things. So I just think it's those things. It's a horrible word to use. I would never like. I find that whenever I've been called a nagger, that's a red flag for me. We just tootsie out of it. I don't want to be called a nagger.
That's very key, because it's the terminology. Well, it's the word that kind of scars the person, because it becomes insultive and we take it personally. So I'm just going to move on to the next one, because I want to really get the essence of the whole flocking together, as if women's sisterhood is stronger than the men's. All right. And I appreciate the contribution so far, and everything that has been spoken is definitely, without a question of a doubt, reciprocated, because it's your experience, it's your understanding of it, and that is what matters most importantly, that you air your concern towards something that resonates with you, and you'll find that others will jump on as what's happening. So thank you for that, Sean, and thank you, Clive, thank you, Z and Gemini. So we've heard of the term birds of a feather flock together. I want to welcome the newbies. You know who you are. Just for the record, there is a chat room. If you'd like to leave your information in there, just for future reference, so we can contact you to stay in the loop with whatever is happening with the Soul to Soul to Spirit Mind Gym platform, then you will definitely be contacted. Okay, so thank you for that. I've got a message here. It says it really comes down to communication, and it's a term mainly used by men to downplay the bigger issue. Thanks for that, Janet. Again, I'm going to be jumping back to these later so we can expand on them more. So just not to lose the flow of the platform, I'll continue here. Birds of a feather flock together. It is a well-known proverb and also an expression that birds of a feather flock together. According to this proverb, which ages over 470 years ago, are people of the same sort or with the same taste and interests will be found together. So with that in mind, let's look at some examples of these groups of people. So we have seen a lot going on with these US sitcoms, like Real Housewives of Atlanta, The Husbands of Atlanta, The Brothers, Waiting to Excel, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. What else is there? We've got our white counterpart, Sex in the City, and, you know, the Golden Girls and Friends, etc. And I remember when, what was it? Diary of a Mad Black Woman came out, and Why Did I Get Married? Now, I'm sure, I hope everybody has seen at least one of those that I've mentioned and can understand exactly where I'm going to be going with this. So, you know, these are just used as my narrative base level of fiction, right? So in each of these groups, and this is men and women as well, there are these commonly known characteristics and personality traits that our dear friends hold, all right? So in each group, you have the drinker, the smoker, the ex-con but conscious, you've got Mr. Educated or Mrs. Educated, smooth, suave dresser, Casanova, loose woman. You got the baby mother, baby father drama, full of excuses. I hate the word baby mother, and I'm not pointing it at anyone. I'm just throwing it out there. You've got the 9-to-5 peacemaker who's been with his partner since childhood. You've got the God-fearing man, fun-loving, barbecue, cookout type, loves hanging out with friends and family. Then there is the one who just cannot settle down, does everything on a down low, and would sleep with anything with a pulse. And that's what this is with men and women. We all in our
And
sisterhood.
we all know somebody
Someone,
from
yeah,
each and everything you said.
exactly. And if
I have all of them as friends, all of them.
that's why I had to really think about the types, because I'm coming from experience, and I fit into some of them as well. Me nah lie, me have to go, man, I have 52 years on this earth. There's things that I look at that have made me who I am today. Yeah, and if I'm by myself, I hold my hand up. You don't have to. You see me, I'm about authenticity. You understand me? That's what set me free in my life. And so we know about these type of qualities in our friends. And another statistic, again, I like to throw in, it says, a study of 2,000 children and adolescents found that males were more likely to view talking about their problems as weird. Hold on. I'm going to mute. Okay. Sorry, where was I? A study of 2,000 children and adolescents found that males were more likely to view talking about their problems as weird and a waste of time. Researchers believe this attitude stays with them until they mature. In the 1980s, 2 psychiatrists studied the contemporary impact of loneliness and social exclusion in the US, and they found it much more likely for men to sacrifice. Why is this not clicking? Mute all. Right. Yes. So in the 1980s, well, I'll go back to where they said in the US, they found it much more likely for men to sacrifice the friendships to focus on their marriage and careers. It is also said that modern day men are neglecting friendships and do not have as much friends as women, and it could be endangering their physical health. How true is this? Let's open up the platform and have a look at where we sit with our sisterhood and our groups. Okay, if you want to unmute yourself, you can do that, because some of you have locked me out. So, anyone want to share their sisterhood with me? I want to go to a brother first. Let me speak to a brother. Tell me about your brotherhood, please. Sean, Clive, you're the only 2 men I can see at this moment.
Right. Brotherhood. It's a strange one.
Mm.
Right. When you say,
I use that as a what is that word they call our is it eubonics? Is that
you
one
lost
of
me.
Okay, brotherhood as in the guys, your group of friends, yeah?
I mean, I've never been one for big groups anyway, as you know. I'm kind of a quiet body. So obviously I have my friends. I don't have a lot of friends that I run up and down with. I have friends who I've known for many years. And I have a couple of friends who are really tight friends. If I have a problem, I can talk to them. And it's basically who you have that you can say anything to. Anything to. You're not going to be judged. You're not going to be, your deepest, you ridiculed, your deepest, darkest. Although he does ridicule me sometimes to put me in my place. But yeah. So yeah, but I'm selective about who I run with or who I have friends with, because it's just who I've always been. I suppose.
Can I second what Sean's saying as well? Everyone's individual, everyone's different. And as you said, Diane, you reach an age now where you can be authentic. Yes? Now, you've known me for many a year. And likewise, as Sean said, I don't run the treat with a whole heap of man because I do not like too much male company. I find them too bitchy, personally. They hide it, yeah? Give me my clique girl them, and I'm gone. Girls are very kind of clear cut, boom, boom. But that's just that's just me. It's a personal thing, yes? And you have, as you say, you have your male friends. I've got about one or two, and you can talk on a level. But even still, going straight back to one of the questions, do men talk? They don't. So even though this person and I have grown together for many a year, if you have a problem, okay, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? A bit there, that's just the nature of that person. So you have to take the dynamics of that individual, but on the whole, the relationship works. Yeah. On as you said, like on a deeper level, if a brother knows you, he will study you, even if you're with a crowd. So you behave, you can say like you'll be one way with your friend, it'd be like if you're with a group of people or a set of dynamic, but then that's on a superficial level. But then if it's something deeper, you'll find that person over time, they will start, you observe and you observe more, and then you find that they will, and you'll be surprised, somebody can come up to you and say, can I ask you something, can I ask you something? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? But on an easy kind of get in there chit chat, give me my sister in any day. They're there, they're on it. Yeah, I've got my good girlfriends, so that's just personal to me. But if as soon as you're talking male, then you can just sort of say, well, I agree with what Sean says. It's just like, just maybe you just got a few.
And Sean had his thumbs up for something that you said as well, Clive. So he's also singing off the same hymn sheet as you. But I'm glad that you said, well, you both touched something, whereas you're not the type of males that have this only per friend. Yeah. And there was a study that said that modern day men are neglecting friendships and do not have as much friends as women, and it could be endangering their physical health. Now, obviously, that's a personal question to ask, but to take it as far as for them to say it's endangering their physical health, I can only put that down to loneliness, isolation, and things like that. Yeah.
Dan, I would say women have got it sussed because you must remember, you have to look at the historical factor as well, I think, with women.
Right.
So where they were suppressed and suppressed over the many decades and centuries, if you like, yeah, they had to pull together. Yeah, remember that women couldn't even vote.
Yeah.
Until the turn of the 20th century. Yes, it was very much a patriarchy. Yeah, I feel on a person that man digging when I agreeth. Yes, he make these rules. Yes, women this, women that, you this, you that, you're for there. But in the end, it created a place of loneliness within men, if you like. Women had to deal with it. So they've come through oppressive times, yes, right across the social strata, in different cultures, yes, different races. Black women had to pull together. White women had to pull together, yeah? So therefore, you have to look at it historically. So you girls have been chipping away at it, for decades and centuries. Yes. And So therefore, women have that sense of strength, and they have their sistering.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Men tend to sort of, not quite on that same dynamic, I'm afraid, and I would say that them dig their own agree.
Okay. Z, I see you've got your hand up there, my dear.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Clive, thanks for the big ups. You know, you're really bigging up the women today, and that is
Oh,
lovely.
no, baby, trust me.
Right. For me, in my sisterhood, I have a great sisterhood. I only sit with queens. And when I say queens, I mean women who are ambitious, who have got each other's back, who are, you know, our children we've raised as a village. We are there to support. We're not there to judge when things go wrong. So I have a good sisterhood, and I'm 41 now, and I've had this sisterhood from school. This is my school friends. There is 9 of us that we roll together as a clique, gang, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, we are there at the top, you know, of our games, doing great. Along the line, I am probably 1 out of the 9 that has been the most friendliest and the most, you know, sociable one. I have made a lot of friends in my life, be it via college, university, work. I am that friend that will go to a club, be talking to a female in the toilet. Oh, your shoes look nice. Your hair looks cute. And before you know it, we've exchanged telephone numbers. Over friendly, as people say, or people want to call me too nuff, but that's just me, innit? Clive, what I would like to say as well is my success story within my sisterhood is great, but that's not for every female. Not every female has those attributes. And in the 21st century, a lot of those sitcoms that you're talking about, especially like Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, a lot of the younger generation, especially I'm talking about, have assimilated to be like these women, which is nasty. When I say nasty, all it is bitchiness, bad mind, covetousness, Tifa man, glorifying being, you know, breaking down families, disrespecting people's children. It's not cool. It's not regal. It's not royal. It's not womanhood. It's not sisterhood. And I'm sick of it. I don't watch trash TV anymore. I used to be a #1 fan of those things because I used to look to America as the innovators of business. I used to look at all these big names like the Nene Leakes and all that, thinking, oh, you know, they used to show me things about entrepreneurship. Like I used to think, you know what, I'm going to start doing an earring line, or I'm going to start doing a lip gloss line. But I just realized for every series, you were talking about me, you were doing this, and that word bitch, nigga, this, that motherfucking bitch. Sorry, but that's exactly how they sound. And then everyone here in the UK starts to emulate it. And you know what I mean? Unfortunately, not everybody is confident within themselves or has a good pack. So they hide behind a lot of the screens. They come onto social media, and it's all just about imagery. You know, you can post a picture and have 1,000 likes, but you're shallow inside. You've got no volume in you. So unfortunately, the majority, if you even were to go on to maybe YouTube and watch some of these queens, and I have to call everyone a queen because that is what we are and that's what we should assimilate to, but they go on and they trash each other. I love my islanders, but when they're ready, when my Jamaican folk, and we know the ones we're talking about, are ready to go in and trash one another on social media, you're frightened. Because they have no filter on their mouth. And they will start from any secret they know of you. If you did have rent arrears, if your child wasn't, they will tell the world. If you have little dusting at the corner of your house. Now, me as a friend, if my friend not wash her dishes and her man is coming around, me I go wash her dishes and say, sis, you have to keep your house tidy, you know want a man to come sit. If you're washing your pants, you put it in your airing cupboard, you don't leave it on the radiator, them days done. You understand? But not every sister is like that. So unfortunately, in these days, I can really say I don't see a lot of sisterhoods around, and it means that a lot of women are frightened to make friends. They're frightened to be friendly with one another. I'm not saying on this platform, but a lot of the time I also find that other platforms I'm on, people do hide themselves because they're frightened that there might be someone in the group that might know somebody that knows somebody, and that starts talking out their business and views. So 2020, sisterhood is really like, I feel sorry for some sisters out there, so they can only rely to themselves or to maybe their mother if they've got that relationship with their mum. And that's my views on that.
That's a very powerful contribution. Yeah. Yeah. And I just wanted to go back to where you spoke about these likes and people living, because the likes now become your new friends. And it's like, how many of them likes are going to watch you, you know, kill yourself, so to speak? How many of them likes are going to watch you lose everything you've ever worked hard for? How many of them likes really like you? You know what I'm saying? Who are these likes? So we find that we're living...
Diana, could I also add about those likes? Sometimes if you come onto a platform as well, people will see something in you. And for anybody who does have like social presence on their platform, I've, you know, run a lot of things back in the day on social media. People will be attracted to you because of you're able to talk, you're able to stand up for yourself, you look good, you're a funny person. But let me tell you, some of these people, they're not really your friends. They're just in it to get something from you. It might be entrance into a club. It might be discount on something. But it's just fake. It's, as Drake would say, fake love.
Thank God me tanning on me yard.
What ladies, if I could add to what the lady that was just speaking? Z, right, but this is where, ladies, you have to, I would say, male or female, is to use an element of wisdom as well. And as you said, because you're going to get the opportunities, what we can get, gimme, tech. We all know it, yeah? So therefore, it's a case of using wisdom, and the more you profile and the more you're presenting, you must be protective of yourself, be humble, be very humble, and just be aware. Just be very aware. Of course, we can't avoid everyone, but we soon kind of find out very quickly, and we can just extricate ourselves from that particular from an individual. Also, just take time, ease way.
Very well spoken. Very well spoken. It's, you know, just on the tail end of what Z was saying about the sisterhood, the present day sisterhood. There are some very strong networks still going strong. And I'm fortunate to have been a part of some. I don't really like to affiliate myself with anything, because that's never been my way of association, if you see what I like. I know you, and it's cool. I can hang with you, I can roll with you. But I'm very much an independent person where I will go places by myself. Yeah, that's just me. Nothing about anything or friend and company. It's a thing where I like my own company. I just love my own company. I always have done. I truly believe that if I turn up at a place, I'm guaranteed I'm going to bump into someone that I know. It's very rare if I go places that I'm going with anyone. And there's two of my brethren on this platform that I can say in the last 2 years, we've rolled together. 4 of us, I think, would have been the maximum you'll see me hanging with if I'm in a group of people. You understand me? If it's not me or another, it would be 4 of us, and that will be going to concerts, which have been, I love my music. If not, me gone by myself, don't care. You want to come, you come. If you don't, it's not a problem. And if there's any friend that I have got, again, she's on this platform and she can vouch for that. She always has gatherings of women. She's very, bring the girls in. Yeah, she loves to have her girls under one roof. We cook up, music playing, drink, you know what I'm saying? That's the way I know her to be. That's her. And there's another friend who is just a singleton. Don't do the whole heap of hype. When we come together, we're just cool. And that's all right. It's about respecting one another and who you are, because I'd rather have 5 people who are for me than 20 people who ain't for me. You understand me? It doesn't really bother me in that sense. The whole heap of people. I've never been for that big crowd because I come from a family where I had only for sisters, so that was enough for me. And but I do love the essence of a sisterhood. I just think it's a very powerful union, especially if you've got powerful queens in it, as Z said, because that's very important, because it's having people to hold you up. And when they see you dropping off a shape, drop off a shape, that's what, then they're gonna catch you and make sure they put you back on track. And I've been fortunate to have women like that, and men as well, because Clive is one of my oldest and dearest friends. And Earl, he's not on today either. And I have to say this because I think it's the right time to say this. I spoke to my friend Marilyn this morning. Now, we go back from high school. And there was a time when we used to have, she was in a different form group than myself, but we used to have this thing called interform sports, yeah? Where all of the forms in your year would compete against each other. Now, we played sports on all levels, but Marilyn was a sprinter. Couldn't touch her in 100-meter sprint, yeah? And it just so happens I was up early hours of this morning, and somehow this memory came back into my heart. And we must have been about either 12 or 13, probably year 2, second or third year, yeah? And I remember Marilyn wasn't in my class. We was in the same year, but she weren't in my class. And this interform sports we did was about winning the trophy for our form, yeah? And Marilyn ran the 100 meters. And I so wanted her to beat the record that she had. And I never forgot it. We even spoke about this morning. And she ran 13 seconds and 32. Now, I'm 12 at the time. I'm 52. So this is 40 years that stayed with me, that I wanted my friend to win. But because she weren't in my form, I couldn't see my form, let my form see me cheering for her, because we were supposed to be wanting to win the cup, yeah? And I held that in high regards for 40 years. And today I told her that there was, and this is before I even knew about this friendship and the true essence of friendship, groupie and stuff like that. And me and Marilyn, our friendship, we never were in each other's life after school. She went her way, I went my way. We were cool. You understand me? But that moment of my life when I remembered watching this girl bust up a 100-meter sprint and wanting her to win it and broke the record, stayed with me for life. Now that was for me what I considered champion as a woman, as a Black woman, because I wanted her to win. But you know, you have to hold it back because you're supposed to be cheering your own form and not the next form, yeah? And we played netball together, rounders, athletics. We did all that together. We had a badass team, yeah? We put, I won't even say anything because there's an Elstone chick on here. She might unmute and wanna come.
Whoa.
Yeah, just mute yourself, yeah? Yeah, those are my girls down there, and I love them dearly. I love them dearly, as I do Clive and especially Sharon. Sharon's on here as well. I don't know if she's gonna say anything, but Sharon played a very, 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 very important role in my life 7 years ago. Yeah, 7 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have key people in your life. They don't have to be in this group that you consider you walk. Like Z said, she's had 9 friends them from primary school, high school, college. That they're just that. So you can have your group, whether they're male or you're female, because mine is combined of both male. It's a mix. And I love my man them. Trust me, I love my man them. Me and Clive, when we get on the blower, it's just funny. And I'm sure you've got examples of him on the platform today. That is just him anyway. You understand me? There's nothing not changed about Clive. And Clive, what, you're 11 years older than me, aren't you?
Well, no, it's the other way around. Me young.
Yeah.
I met Duppy fool you.
But, you know, what's wrong? What is wrong with lifelong friends bonding together to weather the storms and triumphs? Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with it. You know, you come together because you want to share new partners, weddings, divorce, new babies, a new house, a new career. And I'm going to say there are people that won't clap for you. And that's not. Once upon a time, I'd take that personal, but I'm going to open up the floor and that's the incense choking me, and throw it out there, because there's nothing wrong with having these lifelong friends. There's nothing wrong with having people to reach out to, even if you're in a union with your partner. And one thing that has come up with this sisterhood and the man them, some of the sisters dislike the man them because they think they influence their partner, and some of the man them dislike the sisters because they think they influence sisters, or they think they influence their partner by telling them whole heap of things. So let's just speak on that. How do you feel about, we've all been in relationships, some of us are still married, some of us are in long-term relationships. How does it feel when your significant other makes that statement when he says, I'm not for, or she says, I'm not for so-and-so? How does that make you feel?
What do you mean? Do you mean like you've got a good friend and you've got a partner, and your good friend says, I'm not sure about your partner? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, or your partner has a dislike for your sisterhood.
Okay.
Yeah, or vice versa. How does that play out in your relationship?
Well, for me, do you know, it's not everyone you're gonna like, and then it's not everyone your partner's gonna like. But then I believe that respect comes into it, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So if I've got lifelong friends and I've married my partner and he is not really keen on certain individuals, then I know where to keep them. I'm not going to get rid of my friends because they were there, but then I'm still going to have respect for my partner and say, well, I've got to keep you there and I've got to keep you there. So I'm kind of making sure that I'm balancing everything out. So, but nobody can say to me, any lifelong friend or no partner can say to me, well, don't speak to that one, because it's just, that's not negotiable. Because you have to remember, when you're married, you are one, but you still have your own identity.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody want to give an example, an account of their own experience, if any, their partners have not had a liking for the girl group or a particular person? How was that played out?
Majority of the time when partners don't like friends, it's because people chat too much at bedtime. Yes, that's the reason why.
Hey, what's it?
When you discuss your friends with your partner, that's when they start to think, or you talk about their activities. because as sorry, I can't remember your name. As the lady before just said, Jasmine said, sorry, before, there's a mutual respect. And to be honest with you, even if I had a new friend and my partner didn't really take tea to her, I would find it very disrespectful for him to be trying to say, well, you can't have a friendship, because he should have trust within me that I'm my own woman and people are different. And it doesn't mean that me being around that person is going to influence my ways, but people are different. Not everybody beats the drum like we beat the drum.
Mm,
But majority of the time, when people have thoughts, it's because they've heard something, or you've just spoken a bit too much about that person.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely something that is key in establishing relationships or maintaining relationships, about boundaries. You know, those boundaries that have to be implemented when it comes. No one ain't saying that we can't have our girls and there's certain things we can't discuss with them, but it's not everything that needs to be discussed. Sean, I see you have your hand up there.
Yeah. It sounds. I don't know. I might get it wrong. Maybe getting the wrong end of the stick, but it sounds to me as if when you're in a relationship, you would kind of trust the person or be confident enough in the other person that they make good decisions in the first place, and they have good people around them in the first place. I mean, you're not going to like or necessarily agree with who the other person's partners are, but to be perfectly honest with you, I kind of subscribe to the thing of let people do what they want to do, and you will see who they are. And it's not to me, the importance isn't who necessarily who your friends are, but the importance is how you decide to deal with them with regards to their influence within the relationship. And it's something that if you see it going wrong, it's something that I think should be discussed as a couple to kind of say, what's going on here? What's where's this going? Yeah. But the question of I think with relationships, the difficult relationships is that people often decide and we project onto people what we want that person to be. So they have certain attributes and we like those attributes, but then we project a whole other set of attributes on that person, rather than looking at the person and saying, this person has this, this and this that I really like, but they have this that I don't like, but is it something that I live with? Does living with this bit that I'm not really fun, but does those other bits really outweigh them? Because it comes back to something that I've always believed. When you see people and they're in relationships and the relationships break down and they go, oh, that person changed and that person changed. And I kind of don't really subscribe to that. I think it's very difficult for people to change, and people really change. What more often happens is those traits that you didn't like, maybe however they are with some people, or whatever it is, then the light turns around and is now viewed in your direction. So you actually are the person that's on the end of it, rather than on the person that's beside on the outside looking at it happening with other people. Does that make sense?
No, it's perfectly clear in the message that you're putting across. And again, it's all there. What you're saying, it rings true to, it should be that way. It should be that way, but many a times people are unable to take the onus off themselves and see the bigger picture. Now, I've been separated from my husband for coming up to 7 years this month.
Yeah.
but me and him get on better now
Yeah.
than when we were living together. So that I feel maturity comes into the play of the state of play, and it's no longer about what once used to be personal to me, to my emotions, to how I saw you. Because when you are enraged by a person, you are not willing to see the good in them.
Yeah.
Just not willing to see the good in them. You want them to feel everything that they're making you feel in that moment, over the years, till whenever it can done.
Yeah.
But when you step aside or away from holding on to the things that he did,
Yeah.
start looking at what you did or what you never did,
Yeah.
then it changes the whole narrative of,
Perspective.
you understand me? And that's when
Yeah.
you can start respecting that person.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Clive, you going?
I have to. I've got a Buddhist meeting on now. Yeah.
Thank you so much, my darling, for giving us your
District
time.
meeting.
Yeah?
Ladies, look after yourself. Yes.
Speak to you soon.
And brother, nice to have spoken with you. And yes, please, I will catch up with you again. Yes.
Yes.
All right,
All right, bro. Nice one.
Look after yourself. Bye,
Will do.
people.
Take care. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So I can say with my hand on my heart and all honesty that in the 7 years of me stepping away from my marriage, where I've had to grow, because I've now had to divert all my attention on myself and looking at all of the things that, you know, I lost my identity, because that's a big part that comes along and it creeps up and it snatches who you really are, and then you become the mom, the wife, the person, the this and the that, and then Diana is lost.
All kinds of things consume you, don't they?
Sorry?
All kinds of different things that start to consume you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when people say they need their space, that I think people shouldn't take that needing space as being personal, because it's exactly that. We get consumed by the world, and it makes us lose sight of the whole point of why we fell in love in the beginning, why we did what we did in the beginning, get married. There's so many factors that play around with where you were to where you are. And as I said, it's 7 years this month that I stepped out of my marriage, and me and my husband, we're still married. We get on great. We get on fantastic. You understand me? It's just something that time has allowed to happen. It may not be the same for everybody. I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself. Where I'm able to raise conversations that I was unable to raise when I was in my marriage, I now sit and I listen to what he has to say, and he will allow me to speak, and it's just maturity, and it's organic, and it's like, I'm not looking at you as the man I once hated. You understand me? Because you're a human being, you're a child of God, you are entitled to your truths. I must have hurt you as much as you hurt me. So because I feel that I know I'm healed, I'm now not looking at you through those eyes that once saw you as the perpetrator. You understand me? I'm now looking at you as a human being that has a pulse and a heart just like me, but you haven't quite gotten to where I am to be able to be free in yourself. So I am now responsible to make sure that when I speak to you with love, I speak to you with wisdom, I speak to you from a place where you don't feel that I am nagging you or bashing you or belittling you or whatever it is that you once did feel. You understand me? I have that responsibility to myself. You understand me? And when we get to that place, and that is everybody, because everybody's on a different part of their journey of realization, understanding who you are, understanding what it is you want, most importantly. Yeah. But because I can speak for me in this immediate moment of where I am, discussing the topic that we're discussing from a place of authenticity, that's my story. My story looks different to everybody else's, depending on how true you want to be to yourself and to the situation. You understand me? I can speak openly about my marriage. I can speak openly about anything I speak on this topic. I have to speak from a place of authenticity. Otherwise, there's no point me doing it. You understand me? Number one. And I know that there's relatives of my husband on here, and I'm not mindful of what I say because I'm speaking my truth, because you've been a part of my journey. So for me, it's not anything to do with disrespecting anybody, because if I'm disrespecting him, then I'm disrespecting myself and my children. Those things can only come from maturity. You understand me? But when you are not at that place, the world that you see is quite, you're looking at it because you're hurting. You understand me? And I'm not saying that you're not allowed to hurt, but when you're hurting, it's like red rag to a bull. So your whole perception is distorted. Yeah, because 7 years ago, I made a vow I'd never speak to my husband again. You see how time changes so much?
The dynamic changes as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I've got to look at, I've got 4 children and 4 grandchildren to be. And I'm looking at, am I showing my children? I can't be responsible for the other person. I can only be responsible for myself. And I need for them to see the best version that I can be of myself. And it's not just putting it out there. I got to live that truth, because that's all I know how to. Hi, cuz. Can't even hear me. Yeah, that's all.
I hear you. Hey, cuz.
Hey, how are you, sir? Yeah, and
Baby duties.
baby blues. Congratulations. Sorry, all the way from Oklahoma. Yeah, and it's important that even in our sisterhoods, even in our manhoods, the gatherings that we have with whoever we go to when we're looking to bear a burden on that person's shoulder, we got to be mindful of what we're taking to them. And we got to take ownership of what did you do or what didn't you do. You understand me? Because until you can recognize the role you played, you will never understand that you could have been the preventative, the cure and the cause. Yeah, cause and effect. And I can only speak like that because I've allowed myself to get to know and understand, who am I? What did I do? What could I do differently? And until you're willing to ask yourself those 2 questions, not just in your partnership, we're talking about friendships, employment, as a member of the community, it has a ripple effect. You understand me? So it's a very big deal about, do women have a stronger sisterhood? You could have a strong sisterhood, but who knows if that sisterhood is really holding you up? Secretly breaking you down. You understand me? Because if you don't know who you are and you keep running to this sisterhood, it's quite dangerous, right? So I'm mindful of the time, and I hope I'm making myself very clear when I speak on the terms and the message that I'm sending out there, because if you're not honest to yourself, you cannot be honest to nothing that you are trying to achieve in this world. Whether it's your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your friends, whoever, it starts with here. Yeah. So, you know, sisters and brothers can be very instrumental in the rekindling of a breakdown in communications, providing you have the right components, hence what I said. Because having friends is a critical component of a healthy life for both men and women, right? Studies show that placing value on friendships is more strongly connected to good health and well-being. Experience from another can help you identify your own. And, you know, it lowers your blood pressure, number one. You're less likely to experience depression. You live up to 22% longer. I mean, if your friend is, or whatever, whoever you're affiliated to, when you walk away from, whether it be on the phone, or if you've hung out at a restaurant and had a discussion, or wherever you've hung away from, you know, you've come from this gathering where you flocked, yeah? If you walk away from that having any doubt in your mind about that discussion that went on, and I mean any doubt where you second guess something, you question something, you know that it's time to start shaking off from that and taking a step back and dealing with the matter with you and that person, yourself. And that's another thing we don't like to do. We get those little glimpses, them little hutches of, that never sat right with me. And we still go back. Yeah. Yeah, we still go back. When you knew in that moment, you felt it so deep rooted inside of you, something didn't sit right, and you take it, and that could be the downfall of the biggest, I don't know, you know, the biggest, the most important thing in your life could get mashed up just like that. Yeah. So coming to a close, and you know I like to throw a scripture in. It's, can two walk together except they be in agreement? And that same little, as I said, that glimpse, that's a disagreement right there. So that hunch of something is a disagreement. Yeah, you can call it what you want. You can call it a little aha moment, or a little or a little nah. We have, whatever you want to call it, we have those moments. And scripture, which is my key, that's my, see, my best friend, yeah. Yeah, yeah, Pastor Lloyd, I can see your skin and teeth back there. Yes, yeah, that's my best friend. Yeah, and anything that we are going through in this world right now, I found it in this manual. And can two walk together except they be in agreement? That says it all. That tells you, if you walk away from whichever little flock you're in, and it sits right with you, then you know. If you walk away from that flock and it don't sit right with you, you know again. It's for you to make that choice. Yeah, you're to make that choice, because you've already been given the answer to what it is and what it isn't when you decide to go to your go-to or your outlet. Yeah. So I just want to say, whew, thank you all again for sharing your time with me, but most importantly, for sharing yourself and your responses. And you know, I just want to leave you with this really key message about it doesn't matter about the strength of, you know, it being stronger, whether you're a man or a woman, yeah? And however many friends you got, and see, this is no disrespect to your 9 key friends. What's important is knowing who you are. Yeah, knowing who you are first before them. It's like going to the doctor and the doctor telling you that the pain that you're feeling ain't nothing. Yeah, don't worry about it. No offense to you, doc, but I know what I'm feeling, and I know me better than you. You understand me? And that's what you're supposed to do. If you do not stand for something, you'll settle for anything. Okay, so before I sign off, does anyone or would anyone like to say something? Please.
Wow, that was so powerful. Wow. That's all I can say is wow, Dee. You're amazing.
Oh,
You're
hi, Mel.
I know I got cut off and I've just signed myself back in. But
oh,
that was
brilliant.
so powerful, so powerful. And you just have to know who your friends are, who you can trust. You understand? And God is always in the midst and he knows.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sisters, brothers, amen.
Yes.
I missed a bit of the, to be fair, I missed quite a chunk of this meeting, and it sounded so juicy. So first of all, I'd just like to extend my apologies for jumping in how many minutes to the end. But from what I've gotten from the meeting, yeah, we do need to understand who we are and whose we are, and our purpose, and the people around us we need to actually choose very carefully. Thank you. Yeah. And I just wanted to welcome another friend of mine that I've invited to this guy, and Jennifer, but she's down there.
Where's Jennifer? Hi, Jennifer, Galaxy A10.
Hi, Jennifer.
You can mute yourself, Jen.
Unmute, my darling. Let's hear your voice. Let's hear you. Hold on, let me unmute her. Oh. Try it your end.
There you go.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi. You can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
all.
you. Thank you for giving us your time today, my dear. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it resonated with you. Even if it didn't, you just found it interesting. If you didn't, that's fine. I'm thick-skinned. I can take blows.
I just wanted to say also, Jennifer is actually my neighbor, and we spent today together, which was really nice. Yeah. So it's all about kindling, and we've not had time to do that, have we, Jennifer?
Yeah,
so
that's true. Yes, yeah. Yeah, it was really nice. Such a blessing. Yeah.
And we found that time just talking about gardening. So how wonderful is that? I just want to say thank you for this group, because you do need to know who you are and who your friends are around you. So Jennifer, thank you for today.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Thank you.
And that's so key. And it's not, you know, I don't want people to I'm not here to bitch on anybody. I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm not here to speak any kind of derogatory tone of another, because at the end of the day, we've all been in a place where the world was unkind and the world was ugly, and therefore everybody was a suspect.
True.
I speak for myself, all right? I speak for myself. And it's only because, and I say it's only because I didn't want to look through these eyes and speak with this mouth and have this heart beating faster than it should be, because it wasn't designed for that. These eyes were given to me to see beauty. This mouth was given to me to speak powerful and beautiful and wonderful and enlightening and motivating and inspiring words of wisdom and encouragement. And when you appreciate that design of yourself, you stop and you start thinking about how you can be the light for that person who won't tell you they're in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? And that, bless you, my darling, true word. Yeah? And be willing to, because God has this agape love, which is very hard for people to do, yeah, or live by. But when you start living by it, I don't know if you like roses, but I find roses very beautiful. But if you look at roses, roses have a form, yeah, and you can get pricked by the most beautiful flower and probably the most expensive. You know, people go crazy over roses. So I'm just going to use this as an example. And when we start to live our life like a rose, we will get pricked because people will kind of rub us the wrong way. But you have to know how to handle yourself in the midst of all of that. You can choose to get agitated by it, or you just dress back. Because in that nanosecond, when you allow something to consume you, it takes away your peace. And it robs you of all of the beautiful stuff that you've got going on around you. But that can only come with time. And that, for me, I spent a lot of time by myself. I was always someone who loved my solitude. But the last 7 years of my life, I spent by myself. Yeah? I've spent in the Word. I've got to build the identity that I've lost along the way. I'm going to be 52 life spare this year. And from a young age, I met my husband I met him when I was 12. Yeah. We dated when I was 17. He's 5 years older than me. But obviously he told me when I was 12, when you're older. Yeah. And lo and behold, it happened. Yeah. And so all my life was with one person. Yeah. And that was what I made my priority. That was my be all and my end all. And I'm not blaming any of any of it. But when you realize who you are, and then you know that you're not living how you're supposed to be living, like your identity gets lost, that's where it impacts the whole world around you. And you start blaming things. And the world no longer is a world that you're supposed to be standing out in. You're trying to fit in as opposed to stand out. Yeah. So just, you know, I say all that to say it's important that now in this new world that has presented itself to us without asking our permission, we went to bed one night and we woke up and the world was on lockdown and nobody was prepared. Not even the government. The world wasn't even prepared, but the world was preparing us. Yeah. And it's scary for a lot of people. But I really have invested time in myself to be able to arrive at this place today, unafraid, and able to give to you guys what I've learned. And it works. This ain't something I got out of a book. This is time invested. And if you do that for yourself, the rewards and the results are phenomenal. But that requires you to be naked and go into places where you've buried some gunk.
Uncomfortable places.
Uncomfortable places. And bring them up and put them right there. And look at them for what they really are. And until you're able to do that, you will not be living in the fullness of who you were designed to be. And that's all I ask.
Fully naked.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And it hurts.
Hiding behind clothes and fashion and makeup, naked, bear it all.
When I entered into healthcare and I realized I couldn't wear no makeup, no false nails, no long hair out, my claws, I stood in the mirror. That time I wasn't even on my faith walk, and I cursed God. I said, why have you brought me here? Where's my clothes? I don't like these scrubs, and I don't like this, and I don't like, and pure don't like. Don't like.
Your beauty. And then you saw your beauty.
Amen, Sarah. Amen. Didn't
not
like it.
Makeup that defines
and
you.
your beauty is not in your clothes.
None of it. He stripped me down to the birthday suit, more or less. Yeah.
This is what COVID is, isn't it? COVID has actually brought us to the bare minimum, isn't it? Really. It's taught us how to rethink, restructure, and come basically. And yeah, and I think really needed to for us, because I think greed came in the picture, and you know, God deals with greed, and he actually, no matter how much, in fact, COVID was, no matter how much money you had in the bank and stuff, because you couldn't have spent it anyway.
Yeah.
All new shoes, clothes, they mean nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
It means nothing. So he brought us back to the bare minimum of appreciating first and foremost what you have, which is yourself, understanding you, which is he that lies in you. Do you know what I'm saying? Rebirthing him again. That's what he wants us to do.
Absolutely.
And understand why he has entered into the individual. Your purpose of me entering into you, you're not going to do that if you continue the way of looking in makeup, clothes, and so forth. And I think I said this to my my neighbor, you know, those things don't bother me. I think I did say that to you, Jen, that like dressing up and so forth, those things don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's about who we really are inside. And I think we discussed this today, Jennifer, isn't it?
Yeah. You're right, Jasmine. It's just like the neighbor across the road there. The other day I bucked him up going to the shop, and I said, oh God, sorry, I haven't had a chance to, you know, say hi, but how you know, what's happening? How are you coping through this pandemic? And he said, you know what, to be quite honest, I give God thanks in the midst of this, because I've never spent time with my children for years, all just in and out, work, you know. And he said, to be quite honest, you know, I really give God thanks I'm able to spend. And he said, do you really, if you ever know how that felt, I can just get up and, you know, go and take them on their bike and sit down and listen to them. Because, you know, when you're working, you get so caught up into, you know, the fear of life that you forget. You know that the wife is there, you know the children is there, and vice versa. You know, wife and husband. But because you're so bombarded with the bills and, you know, things that you need to get and work and whatever, you find that you lose time with family. You lose that quality time.
We take it for granted.
Because
we take it for granted.
Yeah, we take it for
it's
granted.
Always gonna be there. Yeah.
So, you know, that was really, I look and I thought, yeah, man, I rate him for that, you know, and I can see, yes, it really does matter. Family, we need to, charity starts at home. We need to take care of, and I think this has really brought home to a lot of people, and even to myself as well, you know. Yes, this COVID thing really has, it has humbled us. Yeah.
COVID was equal opportunities for everybody. That's what it taught.
Now you see, this young lady here, Gemini, as we've been school friends, 7 primary. primary school. And I like Gemini till the cows come home because she's very political. That's what I love about her. And this social media, this is the only way I've been able to communicate with her. I don't even know when last I've seen you. When we left school.
No, remember Park Hall, Asda?
Can't even remember.
2005.
Oh, that weren't too bad then. I thought I was 11 the last time I saw you.
No, Asda, because I was working in Park Royal, so yeah.
Okay then. But you know, again, people have got different, this whole lockdown will work for people in different ways. It's just an eye-opener to the areas of your life that you put on hold. Yeah? And told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow or next week or whenever. This period has been the time that all of what we've swept under the carpet, I talk about, there's a difference between what cleaning up looks like and what tidying up looks like. This is what this season has been for. Yeah? So I'm mindful of the time, and as my co-host Scott always says, him not clock watch. But
Your clock watch.
Yeah. It's just cool to shout.
Can I say something?
Yes, darling.
It's only because I couldn't find how to turn the speaker up, you know. But there's a Chinese philosopher, Confucius.
Yes. Yes.
And he says, do not worry if others do not understand you. You worry if you do not understand others. Because people are always going to look at you in whatever light they choose to look at you at. And when you mentioned earlier about taking time for yourself, Iyanla Van Zandt, Diana,
yes, my darling.
Yeah, she says, keeping yourself to yourself is not, people see it as being selfish, but it's actually self-full. Yeah? And as you grow within yourself, some people want you to remain where they are.
Exactly.
And they don't want you to grow. And what they don't see is the beauty in growth is like watching a flower grow. Yeah? But when somebody hasn't moved on in their life, they don't want you to move on. So going back to the sisterhood thing, we don't see each other very often, right? But when we do,
yes,
like we saw each other the morning, if it's the evening, you know?
Yes.
And it's very important, I think, as you were saying, and it has been said, that you do have to know yourself first and foremost. My dad, God rest his soul, used to say, he's number 1, 2, and 3. I could never work that out.
Me, myself, and I.
Yes, but you do, because you can't help anybody else. And when people are not true, as you said earlier, to themselves, it's transparent when you know yourself that this person is not being true to themselves, much less to you. You know?
Yeah.
And I think when you've got strong women, you have some strong woman who is selfish, and you have some strong women that are there to help and hold another woman's hand. And it's important to brush away the debris and keep what is there solidly around you. And that's my input.
Love you, Shell. Thank you for that. I love you big time. Can you just, there's someone who wants to know that quote, Confucius. So let me just, where's Z? Z, you have your pen? Z?
Message it to me. I was just going to screenshot in the chat. Can
Oh,
can
right.
you write that one down?
I will get it. It's Confucius.
Ileana, and the other one as well, please. I like those both.
Sharon will give them to me and I'll get them to you. Yeah?
Oh, that's great.
Can you
Thank
do that, Sharon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, Diana, can you share that with me?
Who's what? Jazz? Was that you?
Yeah, can you share? Yeah, can you
Yes,
share?
will
You're
do.
actually.
Huh?
That's it. No, you were frozen, so I wasn't hearing what you were saying.
Yeah, I'll share it to you and Z and whoever else wants it. But today has been very empowering. It's definitely gone where the Spirit has led it to go, and people always, that's why I love people's input, because you just don't know how you're being used as a vessel to speak into this platform and heal somebody. Yeah, because that quote, Sharon, see, you can snapshot it. She's put it in there. Jasmine, you can do it as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Cheryl, oh, she's done it to me. Oh, hold on. Let me give it to everybody.
Oh, sorry. See, I don't know.
That's all right, baby. I'll share it to everybody. If you press everyone, Cheryl, then everyone can see it when you're writing it. Okay. But it's okay. You send it to me. I'll send it to everyone. Yeah. You see, when people are sharing these lovely golden nuggets of information, you don't know what it is that you've been told to say, which is the medication for somebody else. Now that little Confucius sharing there, you see two people have requested it, and I'm sure others want it as well. They will go away with that, and it will anchor inside of them, because it means something to them in ways we will never know. Yeah, in ways we will never know. So it's time to be vocal, my darlings. It's time to speak up. It's time to plant that seed with your words. It's time to heal others with your testimonies, because your testimonies need to be heard. Because people, once upon a time, do you ever remember those days when you used to think you're the only one going through what you're going through? And then you hear, the minute you open your mouth,
I heard
Everybody
something
talk,
from
yeah.
you today that I've just become aware that you're going through, that I'm actually going through. So our stories are, and who knew?
Exactly.
And the same amount of time.
Exactly. You see? But you see,
can I do this shameless plug? This book, ladies.
What's that one?
The
Value in the Valley.
Oh my God. Because a Black woman's guide through life's dilemmas. This is the one. I'm reading it for the second time.
Hold on. Yours is yellow.
This is the first one before the
red one.
Yeah, this is the one to read before the red one.
Oh, I ain't got value. I've got the acts of faith and faith in the valley.
Yeah, faith in the valley is, you read this one first.
All right, I haven't got that one.
Faith in the valley.
All right then.
I did it back to front.
Okay, I jump in and out of them because I have a whole library of my lady there.
So,
she's
she
very
is brilliant.
key. But if you only tell me 50% of your story, you can't expect 100% healing.
No. Correct.
You understand me? And that's just it. That's it. If you give your partner a bit of your love, you're only gonna get a bit back. That is the law of what is it? The law of again, Sharon?
Universe. the law of the universe. Forget attraction. Overall universal.
Yeah. It's the law of something.
Yeah.
The one song of the universe, because that's what the universe means.
Yeah.
One song.
You know, you only don't expect. And then I gave an analogy some platforms ago when I remember TD Jakes and Iyanla were talking about half a pint of love and 4 liters of love. And I'm just going to use these examples again because all right. So let me see. I'm just going to use these 2 objects, yeah. And you know, and it's so true. Like if you come from a household where you were given all of this love in this, I don't even want to use this because it don't really say does it the way I want. All right, so this big cup. You know what? You get my gist, yeah? Right? I ain't got no objects here, right? You know, you come from a household where you were just giving love right up to the brim, full up, right up here. And then you met your partner and he or she only knows about this amount of love. Yeah?
Oh, wow.
To give.
To give.
Yeah.
Preach.
You're never going to be satisfied because he can't meet your expectation of love.
Mm-hmm.
And plus,
Yeah?
you're never going to be satisfied shortchanging yourself from what you're already used to.
Exactly. Yeah. So just take time to reevaluate why you did what you did, or, you know, I'm not saying that all relationships can be rekindled and the fire can. My granny always used to say, all fire stick hard for catch.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Right, and I never got it. And every time when things trouble in paradise happen, I phone my granny. I'm like, Granny, what's that saying again? All fire stick what? And honestly, when I did get it, the fire stick burned me. It burned me. But you know, there's a lot of sense in those parables out there. We just have to. We're at that age now, right? Because I think life really does start becoming nice and juicy when you start like 40, 50 and 60, because we don't know jack. You understand me? No amount of experience that we've gone through. That's just one chapter. There's a whole host more that we're going to encounter. But you see, when you get these ages now where you can talk these talk, young people look at you and think, what are you talking about? Because we were once them young people. You understand me?
And some big people.
I know them too, big people as well, because they're in denial of their perfect world that they live in. So don't go and break up their dolly house by telling them, you know, the world that they're living in is just a facade. Yeah, leave them in their world, as Confucius said. that statement, Sharon, I'm gonna write it off. Do not worry if others do not understand you. Worry if you do not understand others. Yeah.
It's very important.
So important, my darling.
And you know why it resonated with me? Because I was going through trials and tribulations at work. And the thing was, they didn't understand me. I tried to understand people, but they didn't understand me. And I had to show them. And in turn, they now understand part of me. So it's a choice. We all have choices in life.
Yes.
And when you decide that you're going to take a choice that is going to go against yourself, but it's just to make the other person feel undermined. Yeah, you have to look at yourself. And again, it goes back to knowing yourself. Yeah, it doesn't matter if somebody says, oh, Sharon's changed. It don't matter to me, because everybody's got to change. It's either one way or the other. But where it becomes critical, or they start to criticize, it's because they're used to what they know. They're not used and open to change, you know?
You know, it's funny you should say that, you know, because they said there was time, you know, I got it from my family. This is what you have to do. You have to be prepared to lose people.
Yes.
Yeah. And you see your peace, nothing must compromise that peace. Yeah. And I remember it was like, yeah, you've changed, man. You know, you changed. What happened to the old me? Yeah. And
you
it was
change, you grew.
Well, I had to say, when it came to that statement, I said a lot changed me. Yeah. So when they used to say you've changed a lot, I said a lot changed me. Yeah. And I hold that statement because people don't like change, but change is important in the right way. Change is, you know, if you look in the word challenge, you'll find the word change. These words weren't just, these letters weren't just thrown and constructed together so that they could bounce off of our lips. They have meaning. The word challenge, you will find the word change.
Change is refreshing
Change,
as well.
yeah, yes.
Very refreshing.
And it's the only thing that remains constant. So if you're kidding yourself when you say, don't change, or I'm not changing, then don't.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
Don't. But if
Definitely.
you think that you're going to be coming out of this season being with the same mindset, you got a next thing
No
coming
way.
your way.
Yeah, no way. Amen.
Understand? But anyway, that's for another platform.
We could talk forever.
Oh my God.
That's for another platform.
Amazing,
What
amazing.
I want to say to you guys is it's been a pleasure. I am so humbled. This platform today has been so invigorating, to say the least. New faces. My good friend, I see my cousins here, all of that. My cousin Anton, he's going to be joining us next week. Next week's platform is going to be fire. I tell you, I've been working on some great stuff. I've gone cross-continent. I've got some invites.
Don't tell us.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Not that these ain't great, but this is, can't talk. Want talk. We can't
talk.
Well,
yes, cousin.
hey, I want to thank you. I want to thank you guys for inviting me onto this. This is actually very good things to hear about. You on the sisterhood side, you know, and you know, just from my perspective, you know, I grew up with a lot of sisters, so just knowing and hearing the stuff, it's like you guys out here have like a similarity to what I hear from my sisters all the time. Like we talk all the time, and the stuff that you guys are talking about is the same exact thing that my sisters talking about. So kudos to you guys even sticking together like this, you know. And just another quick update. I just got a news update that they just upgraded the charges on that cop to a second-degree murder. And they
Yes, I heard.
Amen, amen. God is good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's but it's just a charge. It's not a conviction. Let's
Wow.
remember that. So we keep on praying.
So tell me something. What about the other three guys? What's happened with them?
The other three guys are charged. They have officially been charged. They haven't. I guess within about maybe a day or two is going to be arrest things are going to be happening. But they yeah, that's a big step because to me personally, I'm just going to brief it real quick that third degree murder is not enough for what he did.
Surprise.
Sorry?
Joint
I'm sorry, one more time.
I give them a charge.
Joint enterprise.
Yeah, because that's what they charge us with. If we happen to be around someone committing a crime that we're not involved in, they say
joint enterprise. Yeah, you've heard of that. Yes.
Send them on joint enterprise.
I heard that.
Right. I
so
guarantee you what's going to happen is I can guarantee this. They got the bunch, but here's what I guarantee you. The cop that was standing around, he's probably going to get the lesser of charge. The other two cops that were on his back and his legs are going to get a bigger charge. They're going to get a murder charge because people keep saying it's one. It's not one. 3 people on him.
That's
right.
what
the main one that was in the front was that delivered that fatal blow, but the other two, one was on the back and the other one was on his feet. So you pinning him down to and forcing him not to breathe, that's a murder charge.
But you know, we're
just going to wait and see what the charges are.
They actually came to kill, steal, and destroy. That was the whole plan of the 4 of them. They went out to commit that murder on that day. They were not taught how to hold down somebody's windpipe. If a suspect and they got them on the floor and they got them in any position to breathe, supposed to be, they're supposed to stand the person up to their feet, but they had an assignment. The assignment was to kill, steal, and destroy. And you know what's going to happen, unfortunately, and I say this loosely, that they are going to suffer a death, but it won't be a physical death. You see, it's the death of the mind. Every time they sleep, they will replay this in their head. That's hell on earth.
Absolutely.
You're right on that.
Absolutely.
It's
so you can't you can't just
we what I was gonna say is my cousin, he's an NYPD cop, and he's like, it's tough out there right now with everything going on, but and they just got to a point where they just forced all NYPD to work 7 days a week. Nobody's having a day off, so pray for my cousin on that one. But he's like, there's a lot more NYPD cops with the protesters than against the protesters. It's only that selected few that we're all seeing on TV and on Instagram and Facebook that those are your bad cops. Like the two cops that decide to drive through protesters. They're trying to show force, but the force is not. What they're doing is just overdoing it to the point where they're going to be fired, to the point where they're going to be charged. Just like in Atlanta, they just had charged 6 cops for pulling out 2 college teens out of the car and tasing them for no reason.
Oh yeah, that was sad.
You know, so that's the type of stuff that we're seeing around. And it, like I said, and as you can see, it was all a female in that car. So it's not just brothers, it's sisters too. It's the sisters too. So it's not that we don't, everyone says, oh, look out for your brothers. It's like, look out for your brothers and your sisters, you know, because they're attacking all of us. They're attacking all of us.
But you see, but you know
one by
what?
one, so.
Can I just say this, right? And this is why we as black people, we need to understand, right, ourselves in this situation. The reason why the police, the government are treating black people in this way, because they see us so divided. If they see that we are a united front, do you think they can disrespect us? It's how we deal with, it's how we portray ourselves, because they think that we have no respect for ourselves. That's why they deal with us like that. The minute we start showing respect for the lighter skin black, the darker skin black, the whatever black, then we've hit it. What we need to have that knowledge. Once we gain that knowledge about each other, yeah, we've got it. We've got it, and we've got it down to a lockdown. Look at those, what's happening down street parties, right? Black people, why are you doing this? You're causing the police to attack you. You're causing the police to sort you out in the way that you shouldn't be sorted out. Do you understand me? So let's get together. Let's put our thinking cap on and do this thing right. Because
that's so true, my darling. And this is why
there is a crisis happening from the States.
We're doing this. We're doing it. We're coming through this thing with a force to be reckoned with. Thanks for sharing that, cuz. Jasmine, so Sharon has just written a Sam Cooke song. Yeah. And I want you, if you're able to put your young people, can you put that link in the group?
I will do.
Right. Can you do it before I shut it down so that people can click on the link and see what you're doing? Jasmine is the founder of the Brent Factor, Sharon, and she has a group of young people singing that same song, A Change Is Gonna Come, from London to Minneapolis.
Wonderful.
So when you put that in there, I had to share what she's doing. And yeah, I'm gonna send it. If you don't pick it up there, what I do, because she forwarded it to me this morning, I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. Should I do that, Jazz? Yeah?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, because I get familiar.
I did. Pastor Lloyd, what's the matter? You're trying to say? Oh, Pastor Lloyd's not saying nothing. But yes, so you know, we could go on and on and on, and this is the beauty of being vocal, but we need to be vocal at the right time, in the right way, and for
In
the
the
right
right
reason.
way.
Yeah, at the right reason. But we
Can
are
I say
forming
something,
a
Di?
movement. Huh?
Can I say something quickly?
Yes, darling.
I think also a lot of us still have a slave mentality.
Karen, please keep
And
it.
I just said the last bit now, right? And what we need to do is we talk about the white folk being superior. A lot of us, I won't include myself, needs to stop acting inferior. Because
What was that? I missed that.
we are superior people.
Oh, absolutely.
But the white folk appear to be superior to some black folk, and the black folk are acting inferior.
Inferior.
You know?
Yeah.
We need to get that mindset out of our heads.
Is
And
that
that's
Sharon
why-
H?
Yes,
Is that
it's-
Sharon H?
Yes, it is.
Hello, my darling. You alright?
Yes, my love.
Blessings, blessings. Sorry.
Never hear me talk so
Always.
sensible yet.
She's on didactic.
Oh, come on,
you.
That's me and you, Shah. Remember that one?
Yes, man.
But yeah, Shah, you need to be on next week's platform. Please put it in your diary because it's so poignant to what you've just said, and it's a. I don't know if I sent you the last week's platform where the change. What was it called again? I mean, they're on the platform too long, I can't remember. The change is gonna come. That's Jasmine's song. Oh my God. Anyway, I'll look and see if I've sent it to you.
Yes.
Like I said, last week we were supposed to have this discussion, but because of what's going on in the world, we just spoke on what's going on in the world, and it changed the narrative. So it was so deep. Part 2 had to happen. So I'm leaving it there. Make sure you're all back next week, Wednesday, the 10th of June at 7 p.m.
My birthday week.
Oh yes, you're June baby, aren't you? So you just yes.
It's my birthday. We're gonna party. Hey,
Amen to that. So everybody, come on with a glass of wine. Yeah.
Yes. Baileys. Whatever you're drinking.
Thank you once again, and we have my new baby cousin up there with his new baby daughter.
Oh,
that's Sisterhood.
congratulations.
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
and
she's kept me up all night. I've been up all night long. I think I only had 2
like
hours to sleep.
princesses
That's
do.
it.
Oh,
I've been up
bless.
since, so.
Good. That's a good
Not
thing.
good. Not good. Need to sleep.
Oh.
Thank you all again, and have a great rest of the night. A wonderful rest of the week. We're back on. For those of you who want more spiritual upliftment, we have a platform of Sister Janice, who is my Saturday school teacher, holds a platform on a Thursday. Marilyn, what time is it?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Tomorrow, 7, yeah.
7 o'clock.
Something just come up on my news feed. 3 police officers in Minnesota charged.
Huh?
On my news feed. It's just come up on my news feed.
That's what your cousin said, Diane. Yeah, that's confirmation. Yeah.
Okay, nice one. If you're interested, I can give you the Zoom details if you've got a pen close by. If not, Giver of the Minion platform starts back this Saturday, the 6th of June at 11 a.m. So I'm looking forward to seeing my family on that platform again. In the meantime, between time, you take everything that you need from this platform and you apply it into your life in a healthy, organic, hostilic way and let it work for you, because it works. It works. It works. Okay?
We planted the seed, now we just have to watch it grow.
That's right. Keep it watered, sunshine, in the make sure you don't plant it in no unfertile ground, you know.
Planted in love.
Yeah, that ground has to be able to breathe. I mean, sorry, not breathe. I mean grow.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. All right. So thank you all again, and I'll see you soon. Yeah. Thank you. God bless. Nice one.
Bye. Bye.
All of you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.